Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And welcome to the 6th video in this series on the number 1 shadow quality of each chakra that can block that chakra. Now, I said we're in the 6th video, so that means we're in the 6th chakra, which is the third eye. It gets confusing, I know, with all those numbers. The third eye is the highest feminine. It is the divine feminine of wisdom and balanced perspective. It is the highest chakra in the body. The 7th chakra, the crown, is off the body and is related to spirit. It's related to the realm of consciousness more than to this embodied realm. And it's like an umbilical cord to the divine. But within this embodied world, where we contact, instead of just the all of consciousness, we contact our higher self, is in the third eye. So this is a very wise, balanced chakra. And it's all about your intuitive knowing, your psychic gifts, your balanced perspective, when you can look from the mountaintop and see everybody's perspective and hold it all with love and not have to come from one agenda or angle or the other. So it's very unbiased, and it sees the beauty in everything, even that which might be considered ugly. It's the viewer of beauty. So we appreciate the beauty in life, the fairness, the justice, and our psychic abilities when we're in the third eye. So in this series, we're going to tap through the number 1 shadow quality here. But if you haven't tapped yet, I'm going to recommend that you go see the root chakra video from this series, because in that one I go over all the tapping points, why tapping works, and how to do it, right? All the way through the whole process. I also tell you why it's important to embrace shadow when working with the chakras. So I really think both of these things are important. So if you have not done those, please go back and see the root chakra video and get to know both EFT or tapping, which is what we're going to do, and shadow. But if you're already on board, and especially if you've already been doing this series, then let's just get going. What I do want you to know, though, and I say this in a lot of my series, is we're up into a more rarefied field. In this age of awakening, more people are in this rarefied field, but nevertheless, even with more of us here, it's still a rarefied field where we don't spend the majority of our life. We don't experience the upper chakras as much as we do, especially 6 and 7, the very spiritually. The 6th is related to higher self. The third eye is related to the higher self. And the 7th is related to our view of God, our feeling of the universe or consciousness that pervades everything. So you have consciousness and your embodied version of that consciousness, your higher self. Up in this spiritual realm, many of us don't go here very often, or if we do, we go on Sunday when we go to church or when we do our strong meditative practice. Some of you, that's daily. Awesome. If again, your lower chakras are where you need more balance, then hopefully your meditations, you're going down into earth energy and really grounding. But I digress. We are talking about the number 1 shadow quality here, and I just want you to know that as we tap on these now, these aren't quite as needed. So the scores may be a little different. We're just really covering all the bases, but for many of us, these 2 chakras won't apply as much. And if they apply to you a lot, great. That's why I'm doing the tapping here, to make sure that we do the world tour, right? That I always want to be someone you can come to, that I cover all of the chakras. So for the third eye, I find that there's a lot around being not intuitive. So we could tap on that one. That may even be the number 1 shadow quality, is that I'm not intuitive, I'm not psychic. But I'm very interested in I am prejudice, because we're in a world now where we're getting so connected via the internet. I have literally sold my Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos to over 50 people in over 50 countries of the world. So I'm just feeling this network of connection that's happening. That's awesome. It's turning us into one world. At the same time, though, our bodies, our DNA, our ancestors have given us leftover consciousness, leftover prejudices that are in our body. And merely by the way we live, where we live, what we're exposed to, we have biases. And it's important we know this because, interestingly, as we know this, we actually become less biased, less prejudiced. As we embrace that we're prejudiced, we can sort of see the glasses that we're wearing. So if you want to tap on an intuitive, go for it. I'm feeling a strong calling today to do prejudice because so many of us, especially in the spiritual world where we consider ourselves open-hearted and we're making an effort to be all-inclusive of others, we like to shun this and say, we're not prejudiced. I remember, I don't remember the full story, but one of my shadow teachers, or my main shadow teacher, Debbie Ford, in her book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, talks about, I've read all her books, I'm pretty sure that was the book it was in, talks about just a big aha she had around her prejudices, around being prejudiced, because she had grown up in a family that considered itself very open-minded, and her dad was very liberal in that way. So she was very surprised to come into that shadow. But remember, the shadow, guys, hides from us. So the time that you most think you aren't something, just about any time where you can say, I am not X. I am not, because you are everything. You are a slice of the divine. You are a piece of the hologram of the everything. So you are everything. So those things that you most want to say, I am not, tells you that your ego and more limited self doesn't want to be those things and is trying to shove them outside of your experience. So today I've been called for us to do prejudice because the third eye is not only the intuitive and psychic chakra, but it is all about fairness and justice and balance and the good of all. You know, us living in harmony. And yeah, that's basically what it is. So let's tap on prejudice, if I can talk. And the simple setup statement, well, before we do the setup statement, what we're going to do is the statement itself. I am prejudiced. I am prejudiced. That's the shadow that I want you to measure, because the cool thing about tapping an EFT is it lets us measure, and we do before and after so we can actually see the results. So I'm prejudiced. Say that to yourself. I'm prejudiced. And you know, I always say the billboard. Imagine the billboard in your town. Imagine it's saying that so-and-so is prejudiced. Or even a stronger word for race is so-and-so is a racist, right? So if you saw that, how would you feel? I'm prejudiced. I'm a racist. Now, racist is specific, and we're going to talk about all types of prejudice. So I'm going to tap a lot with prejudice, but I'm probably going to throw racism in there because we need to be able to be aware of our racism as we draw together as a collective and we become one family on this planet. It's important that we don't kid ourselves about where we are unintentionally and subconsciously racist. So, and that one's more powerful. It has more of a charge than prejudice. So even though prejudice is more general and good for our use here, and it's actually more accurate, I want you to throw racist in there too to see how it makes you feel, because that's the one that's going to make you go, ah. In fact, I believe that was the one that Debbie Ford was using in her book. Okay, I'm racist. I'm prejudiced. I'm sexist. I'm racist. I'm prejudiced. Combine those if you can, like get a feel for what that feels like, because we're working with those. And then you want to give it a score. So 0 would be you have no reaction. So what? So I'm prejudiced. So I'm racist. So I'm sexist. Who cares? So what? It's a big so what for 0. 10 would be your system's in alarm. This is the worst thing anyone could ever call you. You absolutely want to reject it. It even might make you a little nauseous or sick to your stomach. It's like, ugh. Where are you in that spectrum? Okay, so find where you are The number that comes is usually the right one when it just immediately comes. Write that number down. You may also find it's really easy to remember. And I always tell people, yes, you can do halves, 0.5s. 8.5 is fine, 7.5, it's all good. I like to use 0.5s myself. And let's then tap. Okay, so again, if you've never tapped, go see the root chakra video in this series where I give you really clear instructions on how to tap. Otherwise, we're just going to move forward and you are going to repeat after me in both word and in action. We're going to start with the setup statement at the karate chop points. You can either take one hand and tap the fleshy area of the side of the palm area, side of the hand, like this, or you can do it like this. I like to do both at once. Why not get a 2 for 1, right? Because these are powerful points. So wherever I can, I like to do 2 for 1. Okay. And you can do 2 for 1 this way, but I found that as you're going down your face in that, then you have to go to 1 in these singular areas and it feels a little awkward. So I just stay on one side when I'm tapping through the points. But whatever you feel like doing that intuitively calls you, go for it. Okay? Here we go. You're going to repeat after me. I'm going to actually use racist for this one. And then I'm going to use prejudice. And then I'm going to use sexist, just so we cover it. Because we've got 3 times that we tap through this statement. And I want to make sure we cover all the bases, because we all have different emphases. Okay. Even though I'm racist, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm sexist, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm prejudiced, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And let's do one more. Even though I'm biased, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And now we tap through the points. I'm prejudiced. I'm biased. I might not think I am, but I'm prejudiced. I'm biased. I'm racist. I'm sexist. I'm prejudiced. I have preferences of what I like. I'm biased against certain people and things. I'm prejudiced. I like to think I'm fair, but I'm biased. I'm prejudiced. I'm biased. I'm racist. I'm sexist. I'm racist. I think certain people are better than others. I'm prejudiced. I'm biased. I'm racist. Release your hands and take a deep breath from your root up to your crown. And then release it and just let it settle back down. Deep breath in again. And exhale, let it go, just relax. There you go. Good, feel that settle. Now check in. We got to kind of make a mishmash, right? A mishmash, whatever it is. I'm prejudiced, I'm racist, I'm biased, I'm sexist, I'm prejudiced. Feel into that. Same thing you felt in before, and check your score. How do you feel about that? What's your body's reaction to being that? Yeah, I can feel that mine's gone down. I'm more calm around it. Check and see where you are. Write that next score down. And let's do it one more time through, or two rounds through, which is one time. I call it one time, where we go 2 rounds through all the points. So again, just repeating after me. I'm biased. I'm racist. I think I'm better or worse than some people. I'm prejudiced. I might have got it from my ancestors. Might be in my body memory. Maybe I learned prejudice as a child. Maybe I've just been exposed to limited things. I'm prejudiced. I'm biased. I don't like to admit it, but I'm racist. I'm sexist. I'm biased. It's just the way it is. I have preferences. I have built-in preferences. Somewhere along the way, I learned to have built-in preferences. I'm prejudiced. I'm racist. I'm biased. Release your hands and take a deep breath in. And then relax and let it go. Another deep breath in. And exhale and just let it go. Good. Good. Now check in. I'm prejudiced. I'm biased. I'm racist and sexist. I have a biased perspective on things. Can you feel into that? Check your score. In such an enlightened and politically correct age, it is really hard to take on the shadow of a racist, especially, or sexist, especially racist, in this world of collective consciousness. So if you want to keep tapping on this, if it hasn't gotten as low as you'd like it to get, your score, tap 1 or 2 more times through all the tapping points and see if it keeps going down, if this feels important to you. Because as you do that, as you tap on the shadow, you expand that chakra. In this case, it's the third eye, and you expand the opposite quality. So we're expanding our ability to be fair, our ability to see things clearly and take care of the collective or the whole rather than just our own little perspective. Can you feel that? So good for you, yay! Good for you for doing this tapping and shadow work. The two put together especially is real spiritual warrior work, and I'm very, very proud of you for doing this and for coming up and doing it here in the upper chakras. Yay! So next week we're going to go even higher. We're going to look at the number one shadow quality for the crown chakra, and we're going to tap on that. Until then, I hope you have a super intuitive week. Oh, and I almost forgot. Oh my gosh, I almost left you when I said intuitive. I remembered we have the other qualities too. Do you want to open your third eye? I'm always getting emails from people. I want to open my third eye. Well, first, let me just say some of that is overrated in our culture because we need to be grounded. If we're going to open these upper chakras, we need to ground. So if you're opening up here, make sure you are grounding. Just like a tree that grows taller needs to have deeper roots. So make sure you have those deeper roots. If you do, you can tap on these other qualities. Unintuitive or not psychic. So that part of you that says, you know, I can't hear my guides, I can't connect with my guides or my higher self, I'm no good at intuition, that part, tap on that. That's a strong one. Another one is, this is the depth, the deep chakra, the depth in our life. It gives us the beauty and appreciation. So tap on shallow or superficial. Shallow / superficial, which is a big issue coming up in our culture right now because we have all these tools that move quickly and are allowing us to forego depth, to keep ourselves busy and forego real connection to give ourselves this image connection with others. I think you know what I'm talking about. So that one's very, very important. Since this is the brain area, now the critical brain is in the third chakra, but this is the brain area. Upper chakra, we tend to think a lot when we're in our upper chakras a lot. We tend to be in the mind sphere. So you can tap on overthinking, thinking too much. I think too much. I think too much. That's a good tapping. And then finally, this is the area of faith. This is the area of connection to your own knowing. So a shadow here is skeptical. The skeptic. The one that says, I don't think so. So you could tap on your skeptic. I think all these are really good ones. So again, if you want to open your third eye, make sure to strengthen your lower chakras, specifically your roots, so that your tree can grow taller. And then tap on all of the 5 shadow qualities. And if you want to have a more in-depth understanding of the gift of like what you're going to get, the gift of each one of those shadow qualities, make sure and go watch my video on the 5 shadow qualities of the third eye chakra. And that's it. Good for you. I will see you on the next video for the crown next week, and I hope you have a very intuitive and beautiful week. Love and blessings.